The Northwoods Chapel is a small, friendly church located in Pembine, Wisconsin. New members are welcomed and eventually become part of a family as they continue to attend. The church was built by a group of volunteers. One of the charter members, Pearl, in her 90s, discovers the hidden talents of those who come to the church and encourages them to participate in the services by singing, reading a poem, or playing an instrument. Various social activities, such as the hobo party seen in this video, are held at the church so that members can get to know each other. As the attendees become a part of the church family, some of them may invite you to their home or ask you to join them at a local restaurant. In this video, you will hear the testimonies of some of the charter members as the current Pastor Fred retires after 27 years of service. A new era will begin as the pastor of a nearby Mercy Church brings his congregation to Northwoods Chapel to expand the family.
In 1998. And were you secretary at Dunbar too, or no?
Yes.
Yeah, she was, so a lot longer. I don't know how many years she's been secretary. So as I mentioned, she's been doing all our minutes for all our congregational meetings. Whenever I've asked for any historical data or anything, even for this celebration, she went right to it. And with very meticulous notes. Up until recently, what you missionary support. She orders supplies, set up accounts, coordinates with utilities with any changes, and so on. She's actually working now with Redemption Hill on changing over our utilities. And she often reminds me that when we asked her as a board, that we said it would just be a few checks a month. So, thank you for serving the Lord. And setting up time. She does the bulletin each week. She makes sure any emails to the church get forwarded to me or whoever, and keeps up with all the missionary newsletters. And when she first took over, she spent a lot of time cleaning up the computer files and folders there. So, and of course, she does a lot of our special music as well. So thank you, Cindy. I do it, and it takes some work trying to figure out what we've already done, and she was very good about also teaching us new songs, and the practices have been very enjoyable on Wednesday nights. But you know, she also has a standard, which I really appreciated, in doing things well, and even trying to get us on off beats and stuff like that. Chris, of course, is our sound room tech, the lead one, and when he's gone and Ron and Ross is gone, it's definitely, you know, it's noticeable. We're trying to figure out how to do things. Sometimes we've shown up and somehow no one's here or whatever, but he, of course, you know, we hear Ross preach. He's our youth group leader and associate pastor, and if you know him, he is always helping people in our congregation and in the community. And he does that as a ministry, and I know that. He has done a lot of preaching, which I know has been impactful, and he's a blessing for our congregation. Katie's also very involved with our youth group. She's there every Wednesday night and on all the trips and all the activities there, and even toting 2 kids around. And actually, recently she's been our custodian backup when I've been gone. So
and some of the memories I have are, I got too many of them. I remember cutting the trees there in front of it, and so we could see the church. And the first time we saw the site here and got together there, and just so many memories.
But I have 2 different things. Dave and I, my husband and I, had come up here to visit after many requests from Earl Nelson, Brad's dad. And we came up in around 1999, and we stopped coming up, and when we came up, we'd come to church with them. And more, we were coming up on the weekends. We were enjoying this church more than we were the one down in Illinois. I remember one Christmas where David said to Pauline Nelson that we were enjoying our church up here better than Illinois. She said, then maybe it's time to change churches. Of the 4 of us together. We also loved you as a pastor and friend. You both were there for us as we needed you. I especially remember the times you came to the hospital and visited me, and I still remember the time when I was so bad emotionally, and you had tears in your eyes for me.
It was listed for sale. The church purchased 2.4 acres that included a duplex for $36,000. It had a wooded area north of the duplex that had to be cleared. Ted Klontz had a bulldozer and Leonard knew how to run it. I love that line that she had in there. With much volunteer help, the wooded area was cleared, and I think that's what Larry was mentioning as well. A lot of work was done on the duplex, and by the summer it was ready to be occupied. And it was often for, a side comment, it was often for people who needed a place, and a suggested donation was the rent paid. On May 17, 1999, our loan was paid up.
Coming here in 2001, my father was a friend of Leonard Neverman's, and when he passed away, Northwoods Chapel conducted his funeral service. And after that, we continued to come here to share with everyone each Sunday. And most recently, I've worked doing secretary in nursery. So, but we have enjoyed the comfort that this congregation has given us. My sister's funeral was conducted here, my brother-in-law's, my aunt's. So, the church has been very open to those people that were just family members and not necessarily just the members of the church here. And we've appreciated the comfort that we've received from everyone, and we look forward to the next chapter.
Tunnicliffe, I don't know all of you, but I'm Fred Don's daughter, oldest daughter. Also, what year did you say that was? Was that 1998?
That was in 2000.
2000. So they allowed me to be a charter member at 10 years old. Which is cool. And I just kind of want to talk on that a little bit. Just how welcoming Northwoods has always been, and including of the youth. Growing up in the church, they allowed me to be a charter member at 10 years old to show that I was part of the body. Thinking earlier, the garage. The best part of the garage was Florence and Leonard had a waterfall in the backyard. So we loved playing in it. It was so fun. My Sunday school was in their living room, which was awesome. And it was just a great experience. But I think a big part of what really shaped and assisted me spiritually growing up was just being included as a part of the body. My giftings were encouraged and used, And if I didn't use them, they were missed. And that was such a huge blessing as a kid to just be a part of the church and be shown God's love and favor. And it was just such a sweet, beautiful thing that I've been grateful for, every day. It's so good. My husband and I work with the youth at Redemption Hill, and now we can pass that on to the kids. And be like, you are valued at a young age, you can be part of that. So that's just there's so many things. I think Larry said it, there's so many memories and so many things we can say. But just including each other. We talk about the community and the love from everyone. And also just the consistency in faith.
Peter.
Brad asked us to share a few things about Northwoods Chapel and the Baraboo's too, and to try to keep it 5 minutes or less, I'll try. One thing that really impacted me about Northwoods Chapel was the very first time I came here and walked through those doors. It's hard to get through this. The women that hugged me at that door was amazing. And I was trying to remember who it was. I'm pretty sure Pearl was one. And I think Pauline Nelson and Florence Neverman. And person B. And during prayer meeting, A would ask for prayer for B, and B would ask for prayer for A. And I just saw how they cared for each other and loved each other. And I still see that. I see how all of you serve so faithfully and quietly behind the scenes in so many ways. And it has impacted me very much. And I've seen tears in your eyes too. I know you care for us. And thank you. And then there's Dawn. She's become a huge friend for me. She texts me in the middle of the night when I can't sleep. We share pictures of cats and ducks and mushrooms and chaga. And just a few funny stories to share. There was one Wednesday night I was getting ready to come for prayer meeting and I locked my keys in the car. So I texted Dawn and I said I can't come. Well, after prayer meeting, guess who shows up? Pastor and Dawn in the rain. And they spent an hour trying to help me get my keys out, and they did. But they were soaked, and I was so touched that they did that. And Helen Peterson was coming up on stage, and she tripped and started falling backwards. And Lee said, Pastor made one flying leap forwards and caught her and saved her. So that's another memory.
Mine first, generous. That's always the first word I use when I'm describing Pastor and Dawn to anybody that doesn't know them. Generous with time, generous with money, generous with the pulpit. When Clark was an assistant pastor, he was given many opportunities to preach, which he loved. One day on the way out of church, I said to Fred, "You're really generous with your pulpit." And he immediately answered, "It's not my pulpit." Bingo. That's the answer to all of their generosity. But I would also like to give another shout out to one of the best deacon and wife combos that we've ever worked under. Brad and Kim truly have servants' hearts and are a large part of the glue that has held our church together. So thank you to all four of you. Okay, Clark did write something. We began attending Northwoods Chapel when Sherry's parents moved in with us because they could not navigate the previous church building. We reunited with some old friends like the Brunos and Fred and Dawn. We soon met many new friends, and in the course of time, the Lord providentially allowed us to join the church staff and work alongside Pastor Fred. We were blessed to be able to serve for several years in that role, were blessed by Pastor's faithful preaching of God's Word.
It's been a crazy time. Actually, the first Baraboo I met was Jessica, cleaning at Northland. And then the second Baraboo I met was Chris, running a loader, the day that we had I don't know, I say it was 20 inches of snow, and every piece of equipment broke at Northland, and Keith Staley called up Fred to see if he could help, and truck over. And then Chris came over with the front end loader and started plowing out Northland as we watched in amazement as we were scrambling to get a skid steer to plow out all the parking lots. And then around that same time that Faith met with Northwoods, we started doing kid stuff together, and then Northwoods decided to send that we'd all have one big youth group, and that was an interesting time. And then that's when I got to know Seth really well, because Seth would start playing guitar for us at those things, and Samantha started coming over, and I was told by Samantha that this church was not a Baptist church, and she was very dead set against that. And I think we made it very clear that our youth group was not a Baptist youth group either. And then just to make sure that was very clear, Fred went and sent Don Yaden over our way. And he said, if you can get along with Don, you can get along with anyone over here. And
My grandpa and I said, we're not gonna go to two different churches, so we came down here, and we really appreciated it. I remember hearing Pastor Fred early in his ministry when we come visit, when he was at Dunbar, we visit Mom and Dad. But, you know, we just so appreciate what they have done here at Northwoods. And I had to think, I didn't think of the word generous, but that I think was in the back of my mind. He's generous, and I do know, you know, on the deacon board and the missionaries that he supports from his business, as well as, you know, if the church ever needed anything. I truly believe he looks at his business over at Precision Lumber as a way to serve God financially. And for Dawn too, you know, you saw Christmas choirs and, you know, Christmas programs. One of the things, and I've said, she's heard me say this many times, but you know, with people breathing Christ to them, you know, and that really kind of changed my paradigm on things. And when you're witnessing and whatnot, it's not, you know, it's living the life, but just breathing Christ. And so I really appreciate that advice that I will always take with me. But I know they are generous. They help people out. And of course the messages, again, like Lisa said, Kim and I take notes every Sunday as well. And I don't know what else more to say, because right now I'm kind of winging it a little bit.
You are roasting me, but I get the last word today. I just want to share a couple memories so I don't start crying immediately. I was thinking back, if you saw the slide where we put the steeple on the roof. I remember that because Leonard and Merle they had a lot of faith, but they had a lot of strong will too, I would say. They were very determined people, still are. And we had a steeple to put up on the roof, and I said, well, where's the crane? And Leonard says, we don't need a crane. I said, what? So how do we get that there? He says, just grab onto it and you run up the roof. And a lot of times it'll be, you know, we'll have a nativity scene. There's only so many acting parts in a nativity scene, only so many wise men, so many characters. I remember one year we had just a lot of kids that were involved in the Christmas program. So we were going through the regular thing, and then, you know, angels were appearing to the shepherds. And all of a sudden I heard a rumbling in the back of the church, and there was it seemed like a dozen kids. There probably wasn't that many, and they were all dressed like sheep. They had like a peloton and ears, and they crawled up the middle, and the whole church shook, and they had like a stampede of sheep. And they all got to be in the program, and they all stampeded out. And it's funny how you remember me and my family. Thank you, Dawn, for sharing me with the congregation. This evening has been a reminder that ministry is never the work of one person. It's a work of God through His people. And in this church, probably more than a lot of them, not having a full-time pastor, it was a team effort. We worked together, we shared together, we learned together. And when I look back through the years, through the different seasons. I see God's faithfulness. I see lives touched by the gospel. Children who grew up in the church and now are raising their own families in the Lord. The countless moments when we stood together in joy and we ups and downs. Thank you for your prayers, your encouragement, your patience, and forgiveness when I fell short. You blessed me more than you know. As I step into this new season, we aren't saying goodbye, only thank you and keep going. The work of Christ continues, it continues. In Northwoods Chapel as we become Mercy Church. I think that's a great name, you know. You can't even have grace unless you have mercy first. I was thinking about that. Mercy is not getting what I deserve. Grace is getting more than I deserve. Mercy allows you to get to grace.
What a journey. But it's not over. Just as much as it's not over for us, it's not over for you either. God has been nothing but using us as a conduit. And this church wasn't about us, ever. It was about you, and God working through you, too. And that, I hope, doesn't change as we change into a different body. Because God still has a mission for all of us. We just need to open our hearts and find out what that is. So, as God is still behind the wheel, we are not exiting the vehicle. We are merely changing seats.